What if everything you thought you knew about China was wrong? A country praised as the future, yet haunted by its past. A land of billionaires and beggars of temples, older than time, standing beside skyscrapers that touch the clouds. Here, a monk might live stream his prayers on TikTok, while a farmer pays for noodles with a face scan. In one street, you'll see a man burning incense for his ancestors. In the next, a robot delivers bubble tea to your door. This is China, a paradox of power and poetry, of chaos and discipline. You can buy tea picked by the lips of virgins, but you'll pay for it with your face. You'll walk through ghost villages wrapped in moss, dine on dishes older than empires, and meet people whose stories could fill entire dynasties. So forget everything you think you know, because today we're diving into 14 mind-blowing truths that will change the way you see China forever. 1. Taboos that could get you in trouble. Before you even set foot in China, let me save you from a few very awkward moments. First, never ever write someone's name in red ink, because in Chinese culture, red means luck and happiness, until you put it next to someone's name. That's when it suddenly means R.I.P. In the past, names of the dead or criminals were written in red, so unless you're writing their obituary, keep that pen black or blue. Next, ditch the green hat. Sounds harmless. Nope. In Chinese slang, a man who wears a green hat means his partner cheated on him. Legend says a wife made one for her husband so her lover could recognize him from afar and escape in time. Since then, green hats equals heartbreak. Now if you're buying gifts, listen carefully. Ever give a clock? In Chinese song, zhong, to give a clock, sounds almost identical to attending a funeral. So instead of saying, I cherish our friendship, you're basically saying, I'll see you in the afterlife. Umbrellas. Also unlucky. The word san means both umbrella and to break apart. Give one to your partner, and your relationship might just open up and fall apart. And here's one most foreigners never realize. When you leave an elderly person, don't say, see you soon. It sounds like a polite goodbye, but to them it can sound like a final farewell. You might laugh, but trust me, locals take these taboos very seriously. In China, a simple color gift or phrase can change your entire first impression. 2. Legacy of the one-child era. For more than 35 years, one single law shaped the lives of over 1 billion people, the one-child policy. It was designed to stop overpopulation, but it also created generations of invisible children. Imagine a little boy named Liang. He's smart, curious, full of dreams, but he was born illegally. His parents couldn't afford the government fine, sometimes equal to years of their income, so he never got a birth certificate. No ID, no school, no health care. For the world, he doesn't exist. But he grows up watching other kids go to class while he works in the fields, hiding whenever census officers pass by. That's what millions of Heihaisi black children lived through. The policy ended in 2015, replaced by the two-child rule. And now Beijing even encourages families to have 3. But here's the twist, young people don't want to. After decades of growing up under pressure, long work hours, and sky-high housing prices, China faces a new crisis, people simply choosing not to start families. In just one generation, the fear flipped completely. Once China feared having too many babies. Now, it fears having none. 3. The giant of numbers. Welcome to the land where big is never big enough. China isn't just a country, it's a scale that bends your imagination. Every year, this nation of 1.4 billion people eats its way through 65 million tons of rice, drinks 9 million tons of tea, and somehow produces 70% of the world's toys. So the next time you step on a Lego, remember statistically, it probably came from here. They've used more than 80 billion pairs of chopsticks, but in recent years, they've gone green. The government launched a nationwide campaign to replace single-use wood with bamboo bio-recycled chopsticks, turning a symbol of consumption into one of conservation. And speaking of numbers that make your brain hurt, in just 24 hours, China delivers over 1.2 billion online orders. That's the equivalent of what the entire United States ships in a week. Packages fly through robotic warehouses faster than you can finish an episode on Netflix. It's not just logistics, it's choreography on a national scale. When you realize that one country can move, eat, buy, and build this much, you stop asking how and start whispering, how is that even possible? Because in China, massive isn't a word, it's a lifestyle. The illusion of beauty. Scroll through Douyin China's version of TikTok, and you might think you've entered a world where everyone is flawless. Smooth skin, V-shaped jawlines, perfect noses, all thanks to filters so advanced they can literally change your bone structure in real time. There's even a national beauty filter designed to match the ideal face ratio of modern Chinese aesthetics. And it doesn't stop online. Even official ID photos now get AI touch-ups, whitening skin, brightening eyes, smoothing every imperfection. In China today, almost no one wants their photo to look real. Behind the filters lies a generation caught between two worlds. The traditional expectation of filial piety, be dutiful, humble, modest, and the modern obsession with perfection, fame, and self-branding. Young women wake up at 5 a.m. to do makeup tutorials. Men inject fillers before job interviews. On camera, everyone looks confident. But behind the screens, they're just trying to keep up. The illusion of beauty here isn't about vanity, it's about survival. In a society of over 1 billion faces, looking perfect feels like the only way to be seen. 5. Love, money, and marriage, pressure. In China, falling in love can be a financial project, because before you can say, I do, you'd better make sure you can afford it. For many families, marriage isn't just about romance, it's an economic transaction. The groom must buy a house, sometimes even two, and prove his stability before he's considered husband material. The bride's family. They'll expect a dowry known as Kylie that can reach tens of thousands of dollars. In cities like Shanghai, an average wedding costs around $40,000, nearly 10 years' income for a worker in rural China. So, yes, love here often comes with a mortgage. Many young men joke that getting married is harder than getting into university. At least the university doesn't require a down payment. And yet, while men feel the burden of money, women carry another kind of pressure. Meet the so-called leftover women, single women over 30, once mocked by society as being too picky or too old. But times are changing. Today, these women are CEOs, travelers, homeowners, women who choose freedom over forced love. One of them said, "I'm not waiting for Mr. Right, I'm waiting for the world to catch up." Maybe love in China has a price tag, but independence, that's priceless. 6. Copy or create the paradox of innovation. Once upon a time, China was known as the kingdom of copycats. Fake Gucci bags cloned iPhones, Abiba's shoes, you name it, they had it. But here's the twist, imitation turned into innovation. The same factories that once produced fakes are now designing the future. Take Huawei, for example, from copying Western tech to beating the US with its 7-nanometer chip, a leap that even Silicon Valley didn't see coming. And then there's Shenzhen, once a sleepy fishing town, then a factory city now dubbed the Silicon Valley of Asia. It's where drones fly themselves, robots build skyscrapers, and new ideas are born faster than anywhere else on Earth. China didn't just copy the world's inventions, it copied its ambition. You can laugh at their knockoffs. but you can't ignore their results. Because while others were busy judging, China was busy learning. They copied the world once. Now the world copies them. 7. The Great Wall of Death and Pride. Stretching over mountains, deserts, and valleys, the Great Wall of China isn't just a wall, it's a story carved into stone. It took more than 2,000 years to build from the Warring States to the Ming Dynasty, and it cost over 400,000 lives. Farmers, soldiers, prisoners, all laid down bricks until their hands bled, building what would become the longest cemetery in the world. Today, less than 10% of it remains intact. The rest was swallowed by time's sandstorms and the footsteps of generations. And yet, even in ruins, it still commands awe. Every brick here carries a heartbeat of someone who never went home. As the wind brushes across its stones, you can almost hear whispers from centuries ago, the echoes of men who built it not for glory, but survival. And now tourists from around the world walk those same paths, snapping selfies where once soldiers stood guard. In one frame, you'll see an old man sweeping dust off the wall, in the next, a child flying a drone above it. That's China in a single shot, the past and the future sharing the same horizon. 8. The Guardians, Geese, Pigs, and Pigeons. In China, not every guardian wears a uniform. Some have feathers. Meet the geese police. In rural villages and even police units in Xinjiang, geese are trained to guard homes and stations. They're loud, loyal, and have incredible hearing, capable of detecting footsteps long before any human can. Unlike dogs, they can't be bribed with food. Try tossing them a snack, and they'll just honk louder to alert the entire village. In some provinces, farmers even train ducks to patrol rice fields, in shifts literally working night and day to eat pests and protect the harvest. But the most pampered animals, definitely the pigs. With over 400 million pigs, China is home to more than half of the world's pig population, and some live better than most people. There are now 26-story pig skyscrapers, each floor climate-controlled, monitored by cameras, and yes, playing Mozart to keep the pigs calm and happy. From there to the skies, China still maintains a secret army of 20,000 carrier pigeons ready to deliver messages if satellites or internet fail. In a world ruled by AI and automation, it's strangely comforting to know that sometimes the best security still comes with wings, snouts, and feathers. 9. The Kingdom of Tea and Strange Traditions. In China, tea isn't just a drink, it's a language of the soul. For over 3,000 years, tea has shaped philosophy, art, and even the rhythm of daily life. Here in the misty hills of Hangzhou, tea sommeliers claim they can read your personality from the way you pour a cup. Too fast, you're impatient. Too slow, you're calculating. But just right. They say you've found balance in life. Among China's rarest brews is the legendary virgin tea, picked only by unmarried young women who use their lips instead of hands to pluck the tender leaves at dawn. The leaves are then stored close to their bodies, said to absorb their warmth and purity before being dried the next morning. And if that sounds mystical, wait till you hear this. Some villages produce moonlight tea made only once a year under the full moon. The tea is said to capture the calm of night, and those who drink it swear they can taste the moon's glow. In China, tea isn't just about flavor, it's about spirit. A quiet ritual that turns every sip into a meditation on harmony, patience, and time itself. The real-life, hidden villages. Beyond the cities and skyscrapers, there's another China one that time almost forgot. In the village of Bama, people seem to have discovered the secret to longevity. For every 100,000 residents, more than 30 live beyond 100 years old. They rise with the sun, eat from their gardens, and laugh more than they worry. Here, aging isn't a curse, it's a quiet victory. Then there's Dixian, the underground city. Instead of building homes upward, locals carve them deep into the earth 10 meters below the surface to stay cool in summer and warm in winter. Walking through these earthen courtyards feels like entering another century, one untouched by noise or neon. On the coast, Hutuan lies abandoned yet breathtaking, a ghost village slowly reclaimed by nature. Every wall, every window, wrapped in green vines and moss, like the forest itself, decided to move in. But hidden even deeper in the misty mountains of Guizhou, there's a village with only 8 people left. No internet, no traffic, only fog bamboo and the sound of their own breathing. When asked why they don't leave, one old man smiles and says, "Because here the silence still remembers our names." These villages remind us that China's soul doesn't just live in its skyscrapers, it lingers in the quiet corners where time slows down and life feels infinite. 11. The dark side of nature. Beneath China's breathtaking beauty lies a wilder, darker side, places that blur the line between reality and legend. Deep in the Taihang Mountains, there's a village called Guoliang, carved into a vertical cliff. To reach it, you must drive along a tunnel hand-dug by 13 farmers, using nothing but hammers and explosives. The road clings to the mountain's edge, 200 meters above the valley. One wrong turn, and you don't just fall, you vanish into the clouds. Then there's Lop Nur, known as the Sea of Death, a salt lake so barren that even birds avoid flying over it. In the 1980s, a renowned explorer disappeared here, leaving behind only his jeep half buried in the sand. On the coast, Snake Island slithers with over 20,000 venomous vipers, one for every step you take. No one dares to set foot there, not even the bravest scientists. But perhaps the eeriest of all is Poyang Lake, called China's Devil's Triangle. Over the past century, more than 200 ships have vanished beneath its waters without a trace. Fishermen whisper that on foggy nights they can still hear bells ringing from the sunken boats. And high in the Changbai Mountains lies Tianqi Heaven Lake. Locals call it the home of China's Loch Ness Monster. They say a dark creature moves beneath its mirror-like surface. If you stare into its water too long, one guide warns the lake will stare back. In these places, science stops explaining and superstition starts whispering. Welcome to the side of China few travelers ever dare to see. 12. Feast of Contrasts. To understand China, you must taste it. Every region tells its story not through words, but through flavor. In Beijing, the legendary Peking duck glistens like gold, crispy skin in her meat, 1,000 years of imperial pride wrapped in a single bite. Then comes the century egg, preserved for weeks in ash and lime, dark, creamy, bold. A dish that challenges your senses before it wins your heart. From Shanghai's steamers rise xiaolongbao, tiny soup dumplings that burst with flavor the moment they touch your tongue. And in Sichuan, fire becomes art in the form of mapo tofu, silky bean curd, swimming in a lava of chili and peppercorn. You taste heat, numbness, and joy all at once. But China's feast doesn't stop at tradition. In Chengdu, hot pot boils like a red volcano, friends gather, laughter echoes, and the air is thick with spice and steam. In Xi'an, street vendors toss noodles in the air while drums beat and lanterns glow. And of course, modern China has its new addiction, bubble tea, a $15 billion love affair with sugar and pearls, shaking up cups from Shanghai to San Francisco. Here, food isn't just nourishment, it's identity, it's history, it's emotion. You taste the fire, the silk, the soul all in one bite. Comment your favorite Chinese dish below and tell us if you could taste one part of China, which would it be? 13. Festivals of Light and Memory. No country celebrates quite like China, where every festival feels like a bridge between heaven, earth, and Wi-Fi. The Spring Festival, or Lunar New Year, turns the entire nation red with joy. Families reunite, lanterns glow, and firecrackers light up the sky. But in 2025, the fireworks are joined by robots delivering digital red envelopes and drones painting dragons across the night sky. The Lantern Festival marks the end of New Year celebrations, once filled with floating candles, now transformed into 3D light shows powered by AI. Thousands gather as drones form phoenixes, dragons, and hearts above the cities, ancient symbols reimagined in pixels. During Qingming, families sweep ancestral tombs, burning paper offerings shaped like cars, phones, even Bitcoin notes, gifts for the afterlife in a digital age. The Dragon Boat Festival races through the rivers of Guangdong and Fujian paddles, striking water in perfect rhythm to drums echoing from both banks. And when the moon turns full, the Mid-Autumn Festival reminds everyone to pause to share mooncakes, tea, and stories under silver light. Tradition here doesn't fade, it upgrades. In China, even technology learns how to celebrate. 14. Cost of living and travel. Realities. Living in China today feels like stepping into the future, one that doesn't take cash. From Beijing to Shenzhen, even street vendors use QR codes. In Shanghai, the joke goes, even the homeless accept digital payments. Everything from buying noodles to renting an apartment happens through your phone. One tap for trains, another for dinner, and suddenly you realize your wallet hasn't seen daylight in months. For travelers, China's cost of living can still feel like magic. Rent in big cities $600 to $800 a month. In smaller ones like Chengdu or Wuhan, $300 to $450. Food. A street meal for $2 or a restaurant dinner for $10. Public transport rarely costs more than a coin's worth. Just remember, offline apps are your best friend. Google won't save you here. Download local maps translation tools and always keep your hotel name in Chinese characters. When shopping, be wary of counterfeits even in glossy malls. Bargaining isn't rude, it's an art form. Offer half the price, smile, and walk away if they chase you. Congratulations, you've won. But beyond prices and payment apps, living here changes how you see the world. Because in China, you don't just pay differently, you live differently. For $600 a month, you don't just live in China. You live inside a parallel world. Epilogue. The mystery of a billion lives. China is not just a country. It's a contradiction, ancient yet futuristic, disciplined yet chaotic, closed yet endlessly curious. It's a monk meditating in a mountain cave while a robot delivers tea in a neon-lit cafe. It's incense smoke rising beside holographic billboards. It's silence and noise, peace and pressure, pride and paradox, all existing in the same heartbeat. A billion people wake up every morning here, some chasing dreams in megacities, others tending rice fields under dawn fog. And somehow, they all move together like a living symphony, too vast for one melody to contain. China doesn't ask to be loved or even understood. It simply exists, massive, mysterious, unforgettable. Because whether you admire it, question it, fear it, or try to explain it, one thing is certain, you will never forget it. So tell me, which fact shocked you the most? Drop the number below. And don't forget to hit subscribe, because the next journey might just change the way you see the world.